Good morning, everybody. We are back at the small pond expansion. Last Friday, today's Monday, so Friday, the customer pretty much doubled the size of what we had originally talked about. So we're on day 3, and we are probably going to go to day 4, maybe even a 5th day out here. So this is what happens typically. Customer, you start the project and then they see what could be, and it sometimes it exponentially grows. So we were out here Friday. We ended up taking out a few trees, which opened up the area and allowed for the little pond to get a little bit wider. So that's what we're going to be working on today, is actually digging out the pond and moving material, stacking it so we can get the skid steer over here and move it to the back of the property. So I'm going to go ahead and get down in the actual pond today because the far side is hard to reach. I'm going to dig that side out first, and then we'll go from there. here. Went ahead and moved that whole pile there. He's not able to keep up with me with that little tractor, so moved that pile that I had right there, and that's next. So I'm gonna throw all this material back here on his little driveway that he's made. Let him try to scoop the majority of this up. right, here we are. We're actually in the pond now. This is the first time we were able to actually really hog some material out of here and make some real good progress. The palm trees are kind of in the way when we go to throw the material, but it's not bad. For the most part, we're able to dig and rotate without too many issues. The homeowner is still helping. He's there on his little tractor. He's giving us a hand. And that was greatly appreciated because I didn't have any help with me out there. So every time I'd get a pile of material that I had to move, I had to stop, get out of the excavator, go get in the skid steer, and move it myself, which was definitely not speeding things up. So on the last day, I actually did have some help, but today, on this particular day, the homeowner was out there with his little mini tractor, and he didn't do all of it, but he definitely made a dent in it and definitely sped it up, and so we really appreciate that. And he was having a blast, I think, helping. So most of this material that we're digging out of here is limestone. They wanted to go deeper, and as a result, there was, you can kind of see the clay on the left-hand side of that shot right there, and there's not very much of it. So this turned into, from a wanting a pond that would hold water and potentially be a fishing pond, into a drainage pond, something that when the rainwaters come will absorb most of the water out of the backyard and hopefully keep it from flooding, which I guess is a problem they're having here. So they got a bigger, deeper pond. It changed its purpose as a result. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to look good once they get some landscaping in and get it all cleaned up. He's definitely a DIYer, which is great. I think if he could have dug this pond with that little tractor, he would have done it, even if it took him 6 months. But unfortunately, he just couldn't get through a lot of this material. But it's a work in progress, this property. He's made big steps already, and this is one thing I think is gonna. They're really excited about having this in the backyard here. So we were happy to help. But as you can see, definitely making some progress today. Just like I said, being able to hog this material out of here quickly was a difference maker. All right, we're all wrapped up on day 3. Made a mess of this side of the pond, but you can kind of see the outline of where it's going to end up. Right there. And come around here. And then we got one side of it pretty much formed up. Still got to go around with the grading bucket and kind of smooth everything out, but you can see it's starting to take shape. Made some decent progress today after we got out of this tight area with all these palm trees. But that is going to be a wrap for today. You can see groundwater coming in from right there. So this is going to fill up pretty quickly. But we are pretty much done with the bottom all the way through to about right there, and then we just got to finish that section up tomorrow, and we might get out of here tomorrow. We've got a lot of grading to do. It's only so much place to put all this material on this property because it's so small, so narrow, I should say. So we're basically having to take all the material and push it that way. It's all the way down to the end of the property there, and then over here it's soaking wet, so I'm just trying to spread it out and let it dry so I can actually do something with it. And that's all limestone right there. But the customer last week decided they wanted to take out a few trees and pretty much doubled the size of the pond, and as a result they wanted to go deeper. So instead of it being 6 feet, now it's about 10 feet deep. All in all, it's pretty good progress, and the customer is really happy with it. So we should have 1 or 2 more videos on this project. If you guys are enjoying the videos, please let us know. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, and we really appreciate you guys watching.